Please stay. Hi there. So it's Women in Translation Month, which means that I had an excuse to go to the library and get a whole bunch of books that I probably won't be able to finish, but it's exciting just to have a big array of things to choose from with a specific theme. And I'm making a vlog, so I'm going to post more about going to the library and stuff like that later. But in the meantime, while I'm working on that, I thought I would introduce the books and also their covers and what I make of the covers and how I think I will like the book depending on its cover. And to be a little bit more like grounded in the writing itself, I thought the first sentence as well. I'll read the first sentence and react to it. I already read the first sentence for two of them, and in fact that's where I got the idea for this video, because I read the first sentence from The Vegetarian and it really changed my expectations. Not that I had many really, but like it definitely changed how I was going to think about it. So let's begin, with The Vegetarian by Kang. I like this. It's got like a shiny pattern of like a leaf veins like running along it, which I really like. And the wing is kind of ambiguous. It's striking. It's white. It's got like an image of dove and peace and purity, but also, like an animal wing. It looks like it could have been just cut off an animal. It's called The Vegetarian, so we're thinking about eating animals already. And also, like it could be an angel or something like that. So it's interesting. Not enough to make me go like, wow, I really want to read this, but definitely I think it's a good cover design. And then the first sentence, and this is what really made me kind of excited about it, because I didn't really know anything about this book except some people on YouTube said it was good. But I read this: before my wife turned vegetarian, I'd always thought of her as completely unremarkable in every way. For me, that's a great first sentence. Like we know that she stops being unremarkable because she becomes a vegetarian, but does that mean that it's just her vegetarianism which is like remarkable now, or does it change things in a different way? Has it, it opens that question. And also, like, it's so, as well as just setting a before and after with the vegetarianism thing with his wife, we wonder who the hell would say this about their own wife, that she's just like completely boring and like there's nothing of interest of her until she becomes a vegetarian. Like, it sounds like they have a really poor relationship, or he's got a really poor opinion of her, or like maybe he's just not a nice person. So instantly, like, all these questions are there about the vegetarianism and the relationship between the couple and the narrator, like, and his reliability. So yeah, great first sentence. My prediction is 5 stars for The Vegetarian. We'll see. Oh, it's really hot. You might hear my fan in the background because I cannot have it off. I'm sorry, it's really hot today. Next one is Beauty in Disarray by Harumi Setouchi, or her name is different now, it's Jakucho Setouchi, or the other way around maybe, Setouchi Jakucho. Anyway, this was the only book that I picked up because I knew about it, and I saw it was in the library earlier, and I was really excited to read it because I wanted to read it for about a year. It's been on my list, and so I already have high expectations of it. I guessed like it would be 4 or 5 stars for me because it's a biography that I'm interested in, about a person I'm interested in. The cover, the title is great, but I know if maybe just as a cover it's kind of cool, nice and colorful and kind of strange with the flowers and stuff. But if you know that it's a biography about a Japanese radical feminist, then it's kind of weird that this woman who doesn't look anything like her, who looks kind of like a Westerner, is on the front. It's like, who is that? Why is she there? It's obviously not the person I'm going to be reading about. So that's kind of annoying, and I don't really like that. Also, like, to be honest, I just wouldn't like it anyway. Something kind of garish about those flowers that don't really suit the material, I think. And then another thing, like, once you open it, it looks really nice at the beginning title page. Got some kanji in there. But here, it has this quote: "Beauty exists only in disharmony. Harmony is deceptive," by Sakae Osugi. Now, that's a cool quote and everything, but this is her husband. And admittedly, her husband was probably more famous than her. Her name is Itonoe, by the way. I should have said that. But yeah, Osugi is more famous than her, or was more famous than her in their lifetimes anyways. But it's weird to write a book and a biography about a feminist and then to put like the opening paragraph, the opening quotation be something from her husband. I don't know, I just find that really odd. So that kind of everything about it was like kind of making me think, oh, and I'm going to skip the introduction. The introduction also was like kind of short, but also kind of clumsily written, and it's written by the translators, which doesn't bode well at all for the translation. And then the first chapter sentence is, when I thought of going to Hakata, it was merely out of a desire to stand upon the seashore at Imajuku, noted for its beautiful pine grove at Iki no Matsubara. For me, that's exciting because I know these places, and you'll see that in the vlog. I actually go to them, but it's I guess like as a sentence, I guess it's kind of run-of-the-mill, but I don't know, it's really hard for me to separate my personal subjective feelings of knowing these places, knowing, you know, about the person that I'm going to read about already and being excited for that, and just thinking of it objectively as writing. I don't think that's possible even. So anyway, despite the cover, I guess I'm excited for this, and it's got to be, I guess, 4 stars. We'll see. Next is Flights by, oh no, I didn't check how to say her name. Olga Tokarczuk. I'm going to go with Tokarczuk. I'll look it up later, but Olga Tokarczuk. So I saw a review of her more recent book, Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead, which is a great title, and the review also made it sound like a really interesting book, and her like a really interesting person. She's like really famous and big in Europe now, and lots of people are reading her stuff, and from her recent book, like the review, I was so interested. I was super interested in reading stuff by her, and this was by her, and the only thing by her, one of the few books actually by any women in translation in my library. So obviously I picked it out. I like, you know, so just seeing her name and the very simple title is interesting, but also it's just blue, and then a really long blurb, which I hadn't read because I don't really read blurbs if I want to go in fresh to a book. I just read the first part of the blurb, which says, Flights is a novel about travel in the 21st century and human anatomy, and then it lists more things. But travel in the 21st century and human anatomy is a great combination already. I'm already sold. And I really like the simplicity. I like something that's just blue with a little bit of something to go on, like the title. So let's find the first sentence. So, oh yeah, I've started reading the first 2, but now we're into uncharted territory, so I have no idea what these sentences are going to be like. This is interesting. Like straight after the title page, it has a, like, I guess chapter title, which is Here I Am. So it's kind of striking. Here I am. I'm a few years old. Oh, it was a really short sentence. Okay, I'll read the second one. Here I am, I'm a few years old though. No, that's good actually. I can go with that. Here I am. I'm a few years old. That's exciting, right? That's interesting. Like, we're already from the point of view of like a baby. It's going to be trying to see things from a child's perspective, which is, I don't know, I've not read many books like that, but the ones I have I've generally liked. So yeah, I think it works. And also like the kind of the stark shortness of those sentences. Also, yeah, it might not be a baby. It could be something that was just made. It could be an airplane that was made like a few years ago. We don't know what the perspective is. So much could happen, I don't know. But it's, I'm really excited about this one. I cannot judge on that one sentence. But since the point of this video is to be superficial, I'm going to say this is going to be 4 stars. I think this is going to be a 4-star book for me. Or maybe 5. I'm going to go with 4 though. I don't want to push things up too much. You know, then I'll be disappointed. Better that you have, you know, like you aim low and then get more than what you were looking for, right? Than the other way around. No one likes that. Next one, there's a theme here, which was kind of not intentional, but it's the Man Booker International Prize, because these are all winners. The past 3? No. The Vegetarian, Flights, and then this one, Celestial Bodies, all won the Man Booker International Prize. So this, yeah, I don't know anything about it. It's set in Oman, I think written by an Omani, someone from Oman, Omani writer. And again, I don't know how to say the name properly. Jokha Alharthi, I guess. You've got 3 people there who are like have their bodies covered, so we feel like it's a Middle Eastern country probably, because it looks like it's a pretty dry, arid landscape as well in the background. And oh yeah, you can see Arabic actually on the sign. It says slow somewhere there. But anyway, it's, you know, it's kind of like a photographic thing. I'm not really a fan of this kind of cover. I'm not sure if it's a photograph or a painting. It looks like a photograph. I don't really like photograph covers. As they go, this one's nice. I like these kind of striking. You have the color palette is interesting. It's called Celestial Bodies, and there's a moon, and there's like, the sky seems to bleed into the mountains. So as they go, then I like this one. But in general, I'm not a fan. Let's find that first sentence. Oh, so before the first sentence, we have a massive family tree, which is wonderful. As far as I'm concerned, anything with family trees is going to be a good time. I also like making my own family trees. I've been making my own family tree for the Beauty and Disarray book because there's been so many family members. But yeah, family trees are always a big plus for me. Translator's introduction I'm going to skip. Here we are. First, I guess again, chapter is Maya. Maya, forever immersed in her Singer sewing machine, seemed lost to the outside world. Singer is capitalized, so I guess it's the company that makes a type of sewing machine. One more time. Maya, forever immersed in her Singer sewing machine, seemed lost to the outside world. Okay, so I like it. Yeah, I think you get like a lot. You've got like a person separated from the outside world. You've got a sense of like kind of an interior and an exterior space, and it's connected by an object, which is a sewing machine, and also an activity. So it's kind of like, giving some characterization as well, like about who she is and like the outside world and the inside world and her relation to it. So I think it's a good first sentence. Not my favorite. Again, like nothing about it makes me go, wow, like the vegetarian did. So I'm going to say 3 stars, I guess. And again, yeah, I know nothing about this, but I'm going to say 3-star read. Next one is The Diary of Anne Frank. Now, this is quite different from the other books, obviously, because it's not just a book. It's a document of the Holocaust. So, I know some people wouldn't feel maybe uncomfortable about including something like that's so significant and sensitive on a really trivial city list, but I'm gonna do it. And I don't know. I think a book is still a book, and it's like there's a danger, I think, in like sanctifying things as well. Like obviously, I'm not going to read it in the same mindset as I am the others, even though there's another nonfiction here. It's which is also like about some pretty heavy stuff. The biography I have, but yeah. I'm gonna see what I think about this one. Like the cover design, the picture of Anne Frank, like we've all seen, and it's like kind of still got that raw power of, you already know the story, and you see the young innocent face and like that connection with the past that photography does. So yeah, like again, I don't like photographs on book covers, but in this case I guess it kind of makes sense because of the context and because of like the fame of the story. I don't like how they've made it look so academic. The definitive edition and like the font and the way they've got these squares and the blocks and the colors and like all the kind of like really official looking stuff that they've got on it and on the back as well. I'm not a fan of that. I think that a diary is more interesting when it's kind of like the pages. There's that, what's it? I don't know what it's called, but like kind of the roughly hewn kind of pages where like it looks kind of old looking, and I like that, and it feels good on your thumb as you go through it. But yeah, like I like a diary that feels like you're holding someone's diary, and this obviously feels like you're holding an academic text. They've got this cool little thing on the inside which is obviously actual bits of the diary, and that also feels raw and real, like when you see someone's handwriting as opposed to typeset. June 12th, 1942. I hope I will be able to confide everything to you, as I have never been able to confide in anyone, and I hope you will be a great source of comfort and support. I'm already sad. That's really great. And right underneath it says, comment added by Anne on September 28th, 1942. So far, you truly have been a great source of comfort to me. And so has Kitty, whom I now write to regularly. So I know I kind of cheated by adding a second sentence there, but it kind of goes straight into it, and like that's really brilliant. Like I also saw in the introduction, although it's a diary, she had been hoping it would be published as memento of World War II, because she'd heard that this was happening. So she did intend to like kind of write things in a writerly style, I guess, for an audience rather than just her own personal thoughts. So this like kind of striking first sentence makes a lot of sense. And you know, like as a writer, you know, like you understand why you'd begin a diary like this, rather than like, you know, in my diary I don't write stuff at the beginning which is like kind of introducing the the themes of my life or anything like that, or the act of writing or whatever. Anyway, it's really hard to give ratings to like things like this, so I'm not going to give a star rating, but yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it, even though I think it's going to be a really hard time, and I don't want to read it right now because of my state of mind. And now for something completely different, we have The Moomins and the Great Flood. This is by Tove Jansson, and I love the Moomins, so I'm going to love this book, I know already. This is the very first ever Moomins book, before the Moomins comics or anything. This was the very first incarnation of the Moomins. You can kind of see they look weird, they don't look like proper Moomins, but you can see, you know, like kind of Moomin-y creatures in the background. You can see these eyes, you can see like the beautiful green palette and the huge weird flowers, and like it's a weird surreal Moomin land. And you know, like I just love this cover. You can see Tove's name there at the bottom in her handwriting and everything, and it's hardback and it's thin and it feels great to hold. It's just, I'm so excited. I've always liked, since I was a little kid, like these things, like it's just dark and you see the eyes of something. Like I've always liked that. It like, you know, the kind of spooky vibe, you don't know what's there. Look at that. Just look at that. Like before you even get anywhere, you've got this giant snake and some proto-Moomins in the corner looking scared. And look at that. Like again, looks like a sketch for early Moomins. I'm so excited about this. The Moomins and the Great Flood, yeah. I'm going to skip to kind of introductory things again. More great pictures on the way to here. And again, absolutely wonderful illustration. This one reminds me of like Winnie the Pooh or something. Those kind of like really rough, sketchy lines. Sketch-like lines, I guess. And that big flower in the bottom corner. What does it say? It says, "It must have been late in the afternoon one day at the end of August when Moomin Troll and his mother arrived at the deepest part of the great forest." The end of August! It's the end of August as I'm reading this. I should read this really soon then. Just classic fairy tale opening, you know, like we have time, we have place, deepest part, great forest, you know, everything's superlative, and also like a strange creature and its mother. So like that, you know, has a kind of, I don't know, familial relationship going on there, and I'm just gonna love this so much. Definitely 5 stars. Last book that I got out of the library, My Brilliant Friend, by Elena Ferrante. Never read anything by her. I love this cover actually. Even though I think it's a photograph, they've like done some blurry, you know, impressionistic stuff to it, so it looks like a watercolor, and it's you know, like a marriage thing. These stupid stickers really kind of like ruin it, but like, you know, you've got like a sense of Italy and, you know, the beach and the white kind of shore and city, and the all the people making this kind of really family portrait kind of framing, but they're all facing away from the viewer, from the camera, from whatever, and that gives it a kind of surreal air, I think. You know, it looks like Magritte or something like that. It looks like, yeah. And I like, I don't know, I really like this cover. It's strange. Even though, like I said, like in general, I don't like things which have got pictures like this on them, so it's not my favorite type of cover, but I do like this one a lot. It's another exception. Oh, so first of all, we have a quotation from Faust by Goethe, which is one of my favorite things ever. I love Goethe's Faust. I adore it. And, you know, when a book begins with a quote from another book that you love, then you know you're probably going to be in for a good time. Unless it's like, you know, something which takes something that you love and then doesn't match up to it in any way, shape or form. And you're like, how dare you, you know, tarnish these beautiful words with your own crappy writing. So hopefully it won't go that way. The Lord, therein thou art free, according to thy merits. The like of thee have never moved my hate. This is kind of long, you know, I'm going to skip it. I'm going to go straight to the main thing and read the first sentence. Oh, we have an index of characters again. I love these, although the last book I read with like a big kind of, you know, list of characters at the front was really disappointing, but as a rule, like I just like these things. Oh, and they're really cool names, like Don Akil or Ashil Karachi, the ogre of fairy tales. So they've all got like little things written next to their names, which are, some of them are simple, like carpenter or wife of Alfredo, but the ogre of fairy tales, you know, that already makes me interested. So even before we got to the first sentence, there's so much going on here, which is making me excited to read this. The Cappuccio family, the Mad Widow's family. You know, this is the Railroad Worker Poets family. Okay, I'm already sold on this. Prologue, eliminating all the traces. Everything sounds great. Every page you turn just gives you another little hook to bring you in. First sentence, this morning Reno telephoned. Okay, so it's a rubbish first sentence. But because of everything that's come before, including the cover, I'm really excited about it. It's not a rubbish first sentence. It's just, you know, it doesn't tell you anything. This morning Reno phoned. I'm not interested in who Reno is from that. But everything that was building up to that was brilliant. So, oh man, I don't want to. Everything sounds so good, but if I give everything a 5-star prediction, I'm going to be so disappointed. But okay, 5 stars. I'm going to guess that My Brilliant Friend is going to be a brilliant book, and I'm going to give it 5 stars when I finish reading it. Okay, we did it. Those are all my library books, but I'm going to do one more bonus book because there was a book that I had planned to read in August before I learned that it was Women in Translation Month, and that is this book, The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. So quite different from everything that came before. It's funny, yeah, like things that are translated by women that end up in like libraries like mine, I guess, tend to be, you know, what do you call it, literary fiction, I guess, not like genre things or YA, although we do have a kids book in there, and, you know, biographies and stuff. This is a super famous cover, of course. We've all seen it. I've seen it millions of places, and I don't know, yeah, I don't love it to be honest, the design, but it's kind of iconic, I think, just because, like, you know, The Hunger Games is so famous and this design has been used for all the other books in the series, so I've seen it on so many posters that it's got that kind of pleasant air of familiarity. You're like, oh, it's this one, you know what I mean? So that, I guess, makes me well disposed towards it. Part 1, the tribute. So here we go. Yeah, I've never read this book. Maybe I should have said, in case people thought this was a reread, I have never read this book. I'm really looking forward to reading it because it's such an important book for, you know, fiction, I think. But I really don't know much about it. I've never seen any of the movies either, because I've been keeping myself pure and virginal. So before I want to go into the book completely, you know, not knowing as much as possible. I mean, obviously we know some things. We know about tribute and offering yourself as tribute and all that stuff, but I want to, you know, as much as possible, I've avoided the plot for this. Chapter 1. When I wake up, the other side of the bed is cold. Ah, come on. That's nothing. That gives me nothing. I could, should I read the second sentence? I kind of, well, no, I'm not. I haven't done it for any of the other ones. I'm not going to do it for this one. That was a completely nothing first sentence. The other side of the bed was cold. Okay, yeah, it raises some questions. Who was supposed to be in the bed? And, you know, like, who was she sleeping with? Why was there someone there? Is it a family? Is it whatever? Not interesting questions unless you have more information. So, yeah, I have no idea what I'm going to think about the Hunger Games. I have no idea. Anyway, that's everything. This video was too long, but oh well, what are you gonna do? So those are all the books. I will pick them up and hold them. These are, ow, Jesus, that got me right in the sternum. These are all the books that I was hoping to read, apart from Hunger Games. Maybe I can drop it. These are all the books that I was hoping to read for August. Not really though. These are all the books that I selected as like a kind of palette that I could pick things from to read as they took my fancy in August. And I've already, you know, I haven't finished any of them, so there's no way I'm gonna read all of them for August. But, you know, I might go into September as well with these. We'll see how I feel. So thanks for listening, and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye bye.